But yes, hi and welcome to Take One with Samantha Fremont. We have a very special guest in the studio today. So Clair Seoud is a co-director of the documentary short film called Beyond the Curl, which had its world premiere at the Melbourne Women in Film Festival and was also featured at the Young Australian Film Festival. After starting her radio career at the ripe age of 13 as the host of On Air with Claire, she is now working towards a career in radio, podcasting, and social media. Welcome to the show, Claire.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me on the show. I've been so excited to talk to you because we are both students in the Bachelor of Communication Media and we've done a lot of the same units here. So we definitely have, I guess, a lot of shared experiences that we can talk about. But
sure.
I do want to start by talking about the not directing performance, we'll do that one later, the Real People, Real Lives documentary unit. So this is, did you have Ron for this one?
We did, yeah, definitely. He was great. He was amazing, yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool. He apparently he's moved to Brisbane. So
he did. When we contacted him about our documentary making it into the Melbourne Women in Film Festival, he told us that he's no longer in Melbourne to watch it, but he was so stoked. Yeah, he's now over to Queensland.
Yeah, he was a really good teacher, and and this was your first studio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically the studio units are, I guess, taking the skills that you developed in either Media One or Making Media and then giving them, I guess, a more focused application. But this one, we were having a chat before we started, is also a very foundational unit because it teaches you a lot of important camera skills. So what was it like getting behind the camera for in that class for the first time and trying things out?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was kind of like what I went into this degree for. I really wanted to see what it was like behind the camera, and Rohan did a great job of going step by step with how to use the camera. But then when I actually used the camera on set for the actual interview, I remember being a little bit overwhelmed because it's the first time that you're putting your skills to the test. But no, it was really awesome. I remember, being like, this is really cool.
Yeah. This is a really cool unit, and for me, I was actually terrified of the camera. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to mess it up. But then I realized that that basically you're not going to learn unless you make mistakes, and so
exactly, trial and error. That's all it is, really.
Yeah. And I want to ask, so you worked collaboratively on Beyond the Curl with Larissa Haas and
Georgia DePaolo, I think her last name is. I can't pronounce it. Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
We met in class. So throughout the semester, I actually had my group of friends from Media One that I was kind of sticking with for the first half. And then Larissa pitched this idea of doing a documentary about Ella Rowe, who's the curly hairdresser for Alvy's studio. And as soon as I heard that pitch, I literally went up to her straight after class and I was like, you have to let me be part of this project. I need to be part of this project. So yeah, I jumped on, and then after that, Georgia also was like, please let me be part of this. This is an incredible idea. So that's how we kind of met. It was kind of just Larissa pitching an idea, and then Georgia and I being like, please, we want to be part of this amazing project. So yeah.
Yeah, that honestly is such a great way to to get involved with that. Sorry, I know I sound like I was wheezing there, but I'm literally in my head remembering I did that unit in 2024, and I remember hopping on board with Olivia's idea in a similar way.
Yes.
We did a documentary called Life in Colour, which was about the painter Jill Kempson. So, yeah, but basically initially I started out with my own idea, which unfortunately I wasn't able to find the talent for, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was looking back over who had what ideas, I saw Olivia's and I'm like, okay, I'm joining this one.
Literally,
Yeah.
I didn't have an idea to begin with, so I had no idea what I was going to do until like Larissa really kind of saved the day with having an amazing idea that I was like, yes, I really want to be part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, but what was it like when you went to LV Studios for the first time?
It was really cool. So I've never been there before the shoot. Larissa did because she's a client of Ella's. But we went to LV Studio. It was so like welcoming and warm, and just like Ella is such an amazing person. She literally welcomed us with open arms. It's like, do whatever you want. You can set up wherever you want. Like she had clients set up that day so we can film as well, which was really lovely of her. So yeah, it was really cool kind of being on set and like capturing her story in her own space, in her own environment. And it was also really nice because we didn't feel like we were invading her space, even though we were there filming. She kind of just, let us be a part of it, which I really liked. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I love about LV Studios and the story behind the documentary is initially you kind of like look at it and be like, wow, this is such, or at least my first impression was, wow, this is such a niche thing. But then you realize, hang on, there is a huge like market,
Yes.
for this. People, there, I'm remembering there was like an animated short film also about learning to care for textured hair.
Yeah.
And it's such an important part of people's lives, but if you don't know how to care for your hair properly, then then it really impacts not just your hair health, but also your self-confidence.
Definitely. I'm so glad you took that from the documentary because that was like our aim. I feel like it's an issue not talked about enough in media. So yeah, I'm glad that's what you took from it, because that's what we really wanted to spotlight. Was it's not just about, oh, like I don't have anywhere to go with my curly hair. It's like, no, this is an actual issue currently in Australia.
Yeah. I actually was looking back at sorry to I guess be a bit self-referential, but I was looking back as I'm editing the first episode and I wanted to put in some B-roll of my time on TV, and I was looking back at the at those clips and I'm like, oh my God, I did not know how to care for my hair. And so I look like I've just got this big bushy thing sitting on my shoulders. Like I look like Grug, like the children's book character. Like,
I feel like that's every single curly girl before they know how to care for their hair. It's like, what was I doing? Yeah. No, for sure. It's just, I think because of the Western standard of beauty, it's so hard to know how to care for your hair and like what are the right tools. There's no one really to guide you to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so important to have that media representation. So it's like, someone I can lean on, someone I can like follow guidance from. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
And then we've got the other ends of the spectrum, which is, okay, you see another TV show and they've got a hair team to deal with it. And so I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
You need to, kind of figure out, oh my God, what are these people doing? But,
literally. Exactly. And I feel like that was another thing with the documentary, was it wasn't only spotlighting the issue for individuals with curly hair, but also hairdressers as well, because like hairdressers aren't educated about curly, coily and textured hair. So when we see in the movies, like they have a whole team like doing their hair for them, and then we enter the hairdressers and this like singular hairdressers, like I've only been taught about Western standards of beauty. It's like, there's that struggle and that barrier that's not talked about for sure.
Yeah, and what she learnt about hairdressing for these types of hair came from her family, who had to do basically backyard haircuts because they didn't have any salon they could go to.
Yeah, and it's very common across Australia for people to be doing their own hair at home, like cutting it themselves, because there's no hairdressers around to help them with their curly, coily or textured hair. Definitely.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that was Elvie in the
Yes.
chair getting her hair done.
Yes, it was. Yeah, the studio is named after her mum, Alvi, and she was such an amazing character to work with. Oh my goodness, she made us all laugh the whole time. Like we included a clip where we were like to her, "Don't look at the camera," and then she looked straight at the camera. Which every single screening of that documentary, people are like bursting out laughing because it's just such a common and relatable thing to do. No, love Elvie. She was very wise towards us as well. She was giving us girls advice whilst we we're on set as well about like how to look after our hair and like to not listen to like people telling us to defrizz or anti-frizz our hair too. So yeah, you can definitely see where Ella got her I guess wiseness, if that's even a word, but like her knowledge was definitely from her mum, Elvie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say I've also done like the no frizz stuff. So
Yes.
after I realized that my hair was like super bushy, I went through a phase of just doing like all of this anti-frizz stuff, and my hair just looked so flat, and I'm like, I can't tell what's worse, when it looks flat or when it looks frizzy.
Literally.
So, but yeah, basically, are there any hair care hacks that we need to know about from these?
I think the number one thing that I figured out was to brush my hair when it's wet, not brush it when it's dry, for sure. When you brush it when it's dry, it definitely becomes frizzy, but when you brush it when it's soaking wet, like I'm talking like soaking, like it needs to be dripping water. Yeah, like
wow,
like wet. Then when you brush it, it dries a lot more defined and together. And actually Ella taught us on the day, she was like, sea salt water's really good for your hair. So like
really
go to the ocean. Yeah, apparently it's really, really good for not only your scalp but like for the curls as well, because it makes it nice and hydrated. And yeah, so that was something I went straight to the ocean after. But yeah, definitely sea salt. That's apparently the trick.
Yeah, because I was thinking about when you said that, I was thinking like it's not good to like drink sea salt water, but
no, for the hair only.
For the hair. Wow.
Yeah.
I one thing I've started doing, and I think this has helped, is braiding my hair before bed every night.
Yes, for
So
sure.
I'll basically brush it out while it's still wet, and then braid it, and then I also sleep with the like low friction pillowcase.
Yes,
so.
same. No, I always say this, a curly hair routine is it's like a piece of art. Like everyone has to curate it to themselves. Like you take a little bit of techniques from each artist and then you make it your own. But yeah, no, I love that everyone has like some sort of technique that overlaps with others that like works. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like as well, I've my whole life I've gone to hairdressers who specialised more in Asian hair as well, which was the other problem. Yeah. So basically they're just looking at my hair and they're like, oh, you got really, really good hair. Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, but how do I... What do I do with this one? Because it's not like yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I say like we have to educate hairdressers across Australia on different cultural hair types. Like definitely, because I'm Lebanese Australian, so my hair is very much like the Middle Eastern curls.
Yeah.
But obviously there's like no Middle Eastern hairdressers near me, so I would go to like, you know, my hairdresser that she's Italian, so she kind of gets like where my roots come from, but at the same time she's like, let's figure this out together, sort of thing. Yeah. No, definitely.
But yeah, I want to say that is absolutely incredible that you've taken this film to a film festival. So, two film festivals so far.
Yes.
And counting, I'd like to assume. But what was it like when you found out that this was going to have its world premiere at the Melbourne Women in Film Festival?
Oh, I was stoked. I was at work when I got the message from Larissa, and she messaged going, guys, and like just sent a screenshot. So I was like, I don't know what this message was going to entail. And then I opened it up and yeah, I was beaming with joy because I didn't think we'd actually make it, considering this was my first ever uni project. Like straight out the bat, it was the first documentary I've ever made, first film I've ever made in total. And we made it in 2023 and we submitted it in 2024. And we almost weren't going to submit it to any festivals. It wasn't until we bumped into Royan at one of the showcases, and he asked us what film festivals we submitted it in, and we're like, oh, nothing, like we're not actually submitting it into anything. And he goes, do not let this dust on the shelf, like this needs to be submitted now. So he suggested Melbourne Women in Film Festival, and we submitted it, and yeah, it was like our hard work was kind of rewarded in a way. We were so excited.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you were interviewed on a panel there as well.
Yes, yeah, we were, which was really cool.
So what was that like to get up there in front of the audience who'd just seen your movie?
I'm so used to public speaking, but this was like, for once, I actually got nervous before going up, because it was after everyone had seen the film. So obviously now everybody... It's kind of like presenting your baby to the world. Like everyone has now like seen my child, and like they all have different opinions on it now. And it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to go up and talk to all these people and answer questions that I don't even know. What are they going to ask? How did they interpret it? Because we were hoping they take it that, you know, it's something positive and that it helps educate the audience. So we were hoping that was achieved. So when I got up there, talked a bit about it and got the questions, it was actually a really cool experience, because afterwards people came up to me to thank me for the documentary and like for having a spotlight on an issue that's not usually brought up in the media. So yeah, it was really, really cool, and I absolutely loved it that when I did it at YAF again, the Q&A, it was still like a pinch me moment, because yeah, it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is actually real, it's happening now. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
It's really cool that you've highlighted such an important issue overall.
Yeah.
And honestly, the thing is, when I was watching this, I was thinking also, I think Rowan challenged, from memory, Rowan challenged us to imagine what our documentary would look like if it was longer. And I know for yours, you have so many different avenues to go down. So we saw styling and afro, but there's so many different things as well that you can do with natural hair. You can do dreadlocks. I was actually watching Andromeda, and basically there's a black character who has dreadlocks, which is probably easier for, I assume they did that because it might have been easier for lighting and things like that. But then you can also do, and I actually watched a little video ages ago about this, but you can use like cornrows and braiding as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would have loved to expand on Ella's perspective of braiding and the different kinds of braiding, and because each kind of braid has a history behind it and like a root from where it stemmed from. So yeah, I think if we were to expand it, we would definitely go into the braiding kind of avenue and educating people on that kind of hairstyle and why it's done. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, apparently back a few centuries ago, African American people in the US used to use cornrows and braids to actually communicate like tactical information about how to escape the situations they were in. So yeah, they'd use like the like little buns to, like, I think those would indicate like mountains or something, like, you know, the terrain that they, I guess, couldn't see from where they were. So yeah, it was it's really cool to see that like every part of hair has a history.
Yeah, no, for sure, which is something that I love about our natural hair, and that's why I think everyone should embrace it, because it just tells everyone a little bit of part of you about your heritage and kind of like who you are as a person. Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to now move on to the directing performance studio, because this was, I think, the next one you did, and it was and this unit is essentially an expansion of the skills that you learned in Real People, Real Lives.
Yes.
I took it in basically the other order. So I did this one not knowing how to use the camera properly. So but yeah, basically this is your first this basically presented a new can of worms for you to work with. What was, like, I guess the most challenging part of going from, your experience in documentary filmmaking to narrative stuff?
Yeah. Well, what was interesting was I came into this degree wanting to do narrative and not documentary. Documentary was not on my radar, and now it's the complete opposite. The most challenging thing that I found was in the documentary, I had Larissa and Georgia with me the whole time. So we literally did every single step together. We kind of took on all the roles together. So I had those support systems, and like if I didn't know something, then Larissa would know. If Larissa didn't know something, I would know. Same with Georgia. Like that teamwork was so incredibly important for that project. And then I went into directing performance, and it's like you are by yourself. Find your own team, find your own crew, have fun. And it was like, oh, okay, so I'm on my own for the first time and have to be independent in this industry for a first time in a long time. So that was definitely one of the most challenging things, was I had to make decisions by myself and make the call by myself, and edit by myself as well, which I hadn't done previously. So yeah, that was definitely one of the challenging parts of it.
Yeah, it's this unit's a lot when you're doing it all by yourself. And did you write your film?
Yes, I wrote, directed, produced and edited it myself. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So your film was called Mindset, and it was about two students discussing their ATAR scores and their futures at university.
Yes.
What do you remember from your year 12, and how did that inspire the film?
Yeah, so when I was in year 12, I was definitely like studying 24/7. I wasn't naturally smart in school. I always had to like study really hard to get the high grades. And in year 12, I really wanted to lock in, and I wanted to get a high ATAR. I don't know why. I didn't need it for this degree. Like I knew I wanted to do a Bachelor of Media and Comms, but I was so fixated. Okay, we got to get like above an 80. Like this is what I really want. So I was definitely in the mindset of like, I have to be like an academic weapon. Like I was studying till 3. I was doing 3 folios at the time of year 12, which wasn't allowed at my school, but they actually, after I was like, hey, look at my grades from year 11. Like I think I can do it in year 12. So they let me. But 3 folios, I do not recommend to anyone. That was quite intense. So
what were those units that you did folios for?
I did music, media and theatre studies. Yeah, so they were my 3 different folios. But yeah, they were all very much in the creative industry. And I did psychology the year before, so I knew like what I was going into in year 12. But I definitely forgot to do like a work-life balance when in year 12, because I had a captaincy as well that I had to balance with studies. So
oh wow, you were full on.
Yeah, literally, I was very much like Rory Gilmore. Like that's how the best way I could describe it in year 12. So when looking back at it though, my best friend so I based the characters off us. So I was very much like, I have to study, like nobody distract me, like the house needed to be quiet, like I need to do my practice exams. And then my best friend was like, yeah, it is what it is, like like it'll be fine, like I'll study here and there, but you know, let's go out party. And I'll be like, no, like I need to study, I need to stay home and study. And she goes, oh okay. And then a few weeks later she'll go, hey, like let's all hang out. And I'm like, no guys, I need to study. So I kind of based it off that every friendship has 2 polar opposite people who have 2 polar opposite mindsets, particularly when it comes to year 12. Luckily, I'm not like that anymore, and I've learned how to do that life work kind of balance. But yeah, that's where the inspiration really came from, was my personal experience with my friends.
Yeah, it's I have to say as well, I've had that that with my friends at high school as well. There's I don't know, I guess I kind of resigned myself to thinking that I wouldn't get a good ATAR.
Yeah.
And then I think that's also kind of affected how well I performed. I've noticed as well with, in terms of mindset, one thing I've noticed is that I constantly underestimate myself.
Yes.
Is that something that you struggle with as well?
Definitely. I've been doing theatre since I was really little, so... And I think that's where it kind of stemmed from, where I always underestimate what I can do, and self-doubt really comes to play, especially when you're in the theatre industry and you're constantly auditioning and you're being compared to other people.
Yeah.
So I'm just very lucky that I have parents that like kind of ground me in like, hey, you can do it. Like you just got to get yourself out of that mindset where you're underestimating yourself. Like take a step back and reflect. But yeah, definitely at times I underestimate like what I'm capable of doing, and yeah, self-doubt just sometimes gets the best of you.
Yeah. And I do want to ask as well, because about theatre. Why did that also inspire your, I guess, transition towards media?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I did stage left performing arts school since like year 4, year 5, which is a musical theatre kind of program, where I did musicals every year, and I was really set on doing musical theatre. I really wanted to do it. That was like, no one could change my mind. I made my professional debut at Wonderland Theatre at the age of 14, where I did 2 weeks of like full-on shows, so 16 shows in total, for a pantomime, and I was the first kid to perform at the Starlight Theatre in Royal Children's Hospital, which they actually don't let kids under age of 16 perform, but I don't know what happened. They allowed me to perform there. So I was very much set, like I had my career kind of planned out for me, which was good. And the one good thing is that my parents are very much like, do whatever you want, we don't mind, and they will support me with whatever. So as a kid, I wanted that, cool, we'll support you with it. But then I started radio at the age of 13, and I really fell in love with radio. And then year 10, I did media, and then I really fell in love with the storytelling of media. Particularly my teacher, Sam Harding, she was amazing at helping me out, and yeah, kind of helped me fall in love with this media side. So that's why I kind of transitioned into the media side of things. I just like that you can tell a story in different ways. And I think, yeah, that's like why I ended up where I am now, for sure.
And one unit I want to talk about, or one thing, did you do the podcasting unit as well?
I didn't do the podcasting here. I did live media. So I did like the Sin Radio part of that. But yeah, I ended up not doing podcasting.
Yeah, because there's actually something that I'm not sure if you've experimented with, which is like, I guess, audio dramas, which is covered in the podcasting unit. But, well, I guess no one's actually, or the podcasting unit, like they teach you the tools to be able to do it. I was very fortunate as part of this unit, for another project within this unit, to talk to Laura Mullen, who is the co-host and co-producer of the CBC podcast Play Me, which is like basically takes theatre shows from Canadian playwrights and turns them into audio dramas.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was going to say that is honestly absolutely incredible to listen to. Have you listened to anything like that?
I haven't, no. I haven't seen those two worlds combined, but I'm definitely interested in like listening to something like that. That sounds so cool.
Yeah, and there's also as well, if you're ever interested in getting involved, one of the guests I'll have on later on is involved in Scripts Roulette, which is basically basically that type of thing here in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's so cool. I definitely will be listening to that episode too. Yeah, for sure.
But have you written for? Oh wait, no, we did. Sorry, I was going to say you've definitely done something similar, which was the radio package in the Room with the View studio.
Yep.
So, yeah. What did you do your radio package about?
We had it was called Hobbies to Jobbies, and it was basically about how hobbies that individuals have can turn into jobs, and how have they turned into jobs. So that's what we based our whole entire radio show on, and then we did our package based on that too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Ours was about a bar in Footscray, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, Pride of Our Footscray, which where we spoke about, I guess, the factors that were impacting this business, which was also a very safe space for the LGBT plus community and drag performers, and but yeah, and also as a live music venue as well, just how these spaces need to continue, but they're not necessarily getting the support they need.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think I remember that. That was really cool. No, it's cool, like how audio can help you tell different stories. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And did you do in directing performance? I remember hearing like Sebastian basically pulled us not pulled us aside, but he paused the class teaching just to give us a little quick lesson about audio design in films, and he basically played us the audio only of a scene to see to have us try and figure out what was happening in the scene based entirely on the audio. And then he showed us the clip with the video as well, and we realized, like, together that these things are complementary.
Yeah, he did show us that. And I remember he was like, imagine what you think is happening right now. We had to describe like what we thought we heard. And then we watched the video and we were like, wait a second, that's not what I imagined. That's so crazy. But yeah, no, I remember that exercise. That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're working on your future projects, now that you've got experience with both the video side of things and also the audio side of things, do you see yourself specializing in sound design or something more screen-based?
Definitely something more screen-based. I went into this degree not really knowing what I wanted to do. I think I wanted to be a director, and I was very set on like directing only and something in radio. And then I got to I dipped my toes in a bit of everything, and I now want to do red carpet reporting, which is very different.
Oh, wow.
But I'm very much into that kind of industry now, and I really want to be red carpet host or reporter, which isn't that big here in Australia, but it's starting to grow a bit. And I definitely want to work in social media as well, and making those like short form contents or doco series where like you make the documentary and then you pull the footage from the documentary into social media series, which is becoming quite a trend at the moment. So yeah, definitely something in that area. Yeah,
I was gonna say similar thing with this podcast as well is that the way I find out about podcasts is by seeing them come up on my feed as reels.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, they all kind of go hand in hand, which is something Laura and I were talking about, is that when you get started with kind of like one form of media, you then realize that all of the types all come together to...
Yeah, they're all connected in some way, shape or form, definitely.
Yeah. And your creative graduation project is very important to all of us actually doing a media capstone.
Yes.
Is it a documentary or a social media series?
It's actually both. So it's a documentary about Bachelor of Communication media students and how far they've come in the degree. So I'm exploring what they wanted to do at orientation and what they want to do now and what that journey kind of looks like. So that will be a documentary, and then I'll pull footage from the documentary to make a social media series for RMIT to help bring our degree out there and kind of let people know what do we actually do in media.
Yeah, the most common misconception I've gotten, because I work at a supermarket, I know not the most glamorous job.
No, I work at retail, girl, I get you. Yeah.
But I tell people, oh yeah, I'm studying media, and the first thing they talk to me about is, misinformation in the media. And I'm like, no, it's actually a production-based degree.
Literally, yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand what does media actually mean, especially because it's rapidly changing. Like there's just different understandings, and I explore that in the documentary. I'm like, what did you think media meant, and what do you think it means now? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also this degree is undergoing a shift next year with new minor streams becoming available. How do you think that's going to impact people coming into this course?
I think it's going to attract more people to come into this course, and I think it is just going to open the doors even more, especially that, once again, media is rapidly changing. So obviously this degree needs to be rapidly changing. So I think for people in this course, that are coming in next year, they're just going to have just a nice wide range of options that they can delve into and really explore, which I wish we had, but yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I did my minor in cinema studies and then basically a bunch of other electives or school options because we didn't really have that much of a focus of what we could do with the rest of the school options we had.
Yeah.
But I will say so I definitely made sure to use both my electives. Did you do something cool with your electives as well that you wouldn't have tried otherwise?
Yeah, I did the business for creative industries. So I made sure to do a business subject because I remember there's like a quote from Cardi B that's like, if you're in high school, like if you're in university, make sure to pick an elective that's in business. So I was like, okay, I'll pick a business one. And then I'm currently doing marketing principles. So they kind of like relate to our degree in some kind of way, but just like exploring different kind of avenues, I guess. Yeah.
For me, I definitely did a business unit, but I did it abroad in Japan, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
And that was actually more focused on businesses in Japan, but it was still honestly an amazing experience to learn about how businesses work over there. And one of the business models we learned about was actually we went to the Cup Noodle Museum and learned about how cup noodles have basically spread all across the world.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, they don't make the same product for any two countries. It's like they had to, I think it was when they entered, I can't remember if it was Vietnam or something, they ended up reinventing the noodles to make sure that they would be perfect for that market.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, ours was not like that. Ours was very much like, here's a PDF, fill it out. I know, I wish we had those kinds of excursions. That's so cool.
Yeah. But I will say you probably learned some really cool things because yours was creative industries focused. So you probably know a heap of things.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely very helpful because I had no idea what went behind a business and what like a business actually included. And I always hear people going, yep, I'm starting a business. But I'm like, how? How are you starting? So it was very much a great elective to start me off to create my own business afterwards if I wanted to. So it kind of set you up in a way, which was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, now I'm like, can I go back and do this one? It sounds really good.
Yeah. Literally.
But what, if you could go back and take some more units, because honestly, every option because this course is so flexible, you have so many different options to tailor this degree to your interests. If you could go back and take more units, is there one you would do?
Ooh. I will say I was really close to doing, there was like a broadcasting journalism elective, and I was really close to doing it, but it clashed with one of my classes, so I ended up having to drop it. And I thought in my final semester having 3 different subjects that had to do with film was maybe a little bit too much. But I definitely would go back and do broadcasting journalism. That would have been really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that one honestly sounds pretty cool. But yeah, honestly, I think we with the live media, you've already got a taste of that, and then furthermore, you've also got it through through the other units.
Definitely, for sure.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show to talk about your experiences as a media student at RMIT University, and also all of the amazing projects that you've worked on and are working on. It's been absolutely incredible to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor. I loved it.
Thank you.